All right. Well, thank you all so much for having me here today. My name is Nick Skytland, and I was introduced as a mass collaboration expert, so I should probably explain what mass collaboration even is, which I'll try to do during the presentation. I'm not sure I'm an expert in anything, but I've been having a great time experimenting with government from the inside, and so that's what I'd like to talk to you all about today. My presentation's titled Embracing Collaboration Across Borders to Bring About Paradigm-Shifting Innovation Around the World. So I work at NASA. I've had the fortunate pleasure of working there for 12 years, and I've done a number of different things at NASA. The latest iteration of that is started as the Open Government Initiative a couple years back and has slowly expanded in scope as we all realize the power and the potential of open data and open source and just open innovation in general. So after much thought and politicking within the agency, we came up with a new name for our organization, which the two requirements were we don't want to use the word open and we don't want to use the word innovation. And they said, great, you can call yourselves Open Innovation Program. So that's what we are. So we're the Open Innovation Program. And actually, I actually really do like it, but I think there's a lot of misnomers with both open and innovation. But we kind of see ourselves as existing to accelerate breakthroughs by helping other innovators at NASA and around the agency identify, explore, and apply the emerging opportunities on both the edge of business and technology in order to solve the toughest challenges that NASA is working on. And I don't necessarily think that those are only NASA challenges. I think NASA has taken on some of the challenges that we're all really interested in from a global perspective. So we kind of see ourselves as a catalyst for innovation within NASA. And I think this is a really interesting case study of how you can actually affect change within government is from the inside. We use open government, we use openness as a catalyst to drive the way we work, the way we think, and we try to exist. We ask ourselves, if we didn't exist, would anyone even notice? We try to, if we were pulled out of the equation, would anybody care? So we want to be part of that catalyst that allows breakthroughs to happen and proceed at rates faster than that would otherwise be possible. Because as you may have heard, innovation within government actually can be kind of a slow process. And so what we're wondering is, can we increase that? Can we increase the speed with which government actually changes? So we're really interested in the toughest challenges. And when I say the toughest challenges, I talk about the challenges that I believe that no organization alone can solve. Not NASA, not even the US federal government together, combined. I'm talking about the challenges that face our planet. And so I have a fortunate position within NASA to be able to work on some of those grand challenges. And what we do is we often partner with other researchers and collaborators and technologists and academics and entrepreneurs and citizens themselves around these experimental projects, which we hope will have a lasting impact on both NASA and the world. And fundamentally what we try to do is use open innovation to unleash human creativity. We firmly believe that the future is going to be largely determined by citizens who design and build and hack their own devices. And it's not going to be designed from the inside. And sometimes government, if you're working in government, you don't hear a lot of that actually. You hear a lot about how we government are going to fix the problems of the world, rather than us being a platform for change and a platform for citizens to get involved. And so we want to be a platform. And so this brings me to mass collaboration. We talk a lot in government, and you've probably heard a lot about competition. And you could argue America was really built on competition. And I think there's a lot that's good about competition, but I think that there's a fundamental difference between the solutions that are bred by competition and collaboration. If you think about it, if you've ever been in a competition and you took first place, you were pretty excited. Maybe you won some money. You probably bragged to all your family. You told your mother. However, if you were in a collaboration, you may not have won first place, but you probably felt better than a lot of the people who didn't win first place in competition because your ideas were heard. You were part of the solution. In a competition, what happens is second place, third place, ninth place, 14th place? I mean, we might be able to give them a 14th place ribbon, but that's kind of defeating the whole purpose of a competition. In a collaboration, everyone has an opportunity to be involved. And so what I'm really interested in doing is figuring out how we can aggregate the smallest contributions of human capacity in a way that's relevant, focused, and directed towards solving the tough challenges of our time. And it doesn't matter where you are. That's what's exciting about the digital age, is that we're all connected together online. You no longer have to be in San Jose or Silicon Valley or San Francisco or Washington, D.C. or New York City or Chicago or London. You can be in Nebraska or North Dakota or Mississippi or Kathmandu, Nepal, or somewhere far away that we haven't even considered before. And so I want to give you a few examples of what this looks like for NASA, because I know we'll probably talk a lot about theory in these discussions. I want to just give two tangible examples that we maybe can point back to during our discussions over the next day and a half. So the first one, actually I have a quote for both of them. So I really like this quote from the Curb Center. Our future depends on innovators who can bring together diverse talents and perspectives to imagine and implement new solutions and ventures. And so that's what we're doing with the first one. It's called the International Space Apps Challenge. And what it is it's essentially a platform to engage citizens around challenges that NASA and its partners offer. And we did this last year for the first time, and the goal was essentially to take the data that we're releasing and take open source software philosophy and see if we can develop real tangible solutions to real problems. And so essentially it was like a giant hackathon, but I don't like to call it a hackathon because hackathon often makes us think of coding and software development. It's way much more than that. It's open hardware design, data visualization, citizen science, just ideation in general. And so last year we did this. We had about 2,000 citizens around the world participate from 25 cities, and we had about 101 solutions in 48 hours, which was a good start. But unfortunately, we had a lot of skepticism within government that said, hey, you can never do this again, you can never do it as well. The solutions don't really matter, they're not very relevant. Either nice, they're on the peripheral of what matters, they're not really mission focused. So that kind of made us want to do it again. And so this year, we actually were going to double it in size and have it in 50 cities. Unfortunately, there was too much interest, and we have not, to be fair, promoted this at all. It's going to start Monday. This year we're doing it in 75 cities around the world, 41 countries on one planet. And I should say one planet, but also space station. And preferably deep space, because we're hoping to have Voyager 1's Twitter account tweet us back, and we'll count that. But the goal here is, where are pockets of innovation around the world that we haven't tapped into yet? Where are people that, you'll travel and you'll meet people with brilliant ideas, but they're not connected? How do we tap into them? And so we focused a lot of our attention in finding places that we didn't even know had a technology hub before. We didn't even know innovators came out of there. So, sorry about the formatting on this slide, but this is just to give you an example of the challenges we're going to offer at this event. The way it works is it's kind of like a hackathon. People show up on Saturday, they work through Sunday, and we, unlike other hackathons, it's not, you don't just necessarily come and show up and work on whatever you want. We actually have 50 highly curated challenges that this year are very mission relevant to NASA's needs. So everything from design a CubeSat for upcoming mission to Mars in 2015 to create a video that explains why having women in STEM education careers is important. And we have a lot of really interesting challenges that include developing software, creating data visualizations like I talked about before, and then what I'm really interested in, citizen science. How do we build platforms that can help us do science in a different way? So you can find out more about Space Apps Challenge at spaceappschallenge.org. We just launched a new website last week, so I encourage you to check that out. So Theodore Roosevelt said, the government is us, we are the government, you and I. And again, I've been working in government for 12 years, and sometimes I think people forget about that. Because prior to really the last 10 years, how did you participate in government? Can you guys name a few ways? How do you participate in government? You vote, okay, that's one. Any other way? Pay taxes, that's a good one. Yeah. Right, send an email, write a letter, hope your congressman listens. 4, that's 3. Can anyone else think of another way to participate in government? Strike, yeah. That's a good one. You have one? Lobby, yeah. Okay, I'm just being facetious. But I agree. I mean, so you can influence, join, yeah. And that's the one that I chose, right? And those are all the ones I could think of. The last one being join. So I was like, well, if I'm going to actually influence government, I should join government. But for the first time ever, we live in the digital age, the information age, and we can rethink how government works, how we participate in government. And so we started thinking about how do we take things like the International Space Apps Challenge, the Random Hacks of Kindness initiative, and how do we actually improve governments at every level? How do we actually collaborate together as governments with citizens? And we came up with this idea called National Day of Civic Hacking. And this is a huge experiment. This is happening in June. It's never happened before. And the idea was there's so much going on out there to try to improve government, but it kind of some days feels like everyone's doing their own thing. And Code for America might be over here doing some brigade meetings. There might be some hackathons over here. There might be some block parties somewhere, but it's not like they're a coordinated effort. So what we thought about was, what if we coordinated our efforts on one day or at least one weekend a year? And so that's what the National Day of Civic Hacking is. It's going to take place June 1st and 2nd, and our goal is to do it in all 50 states, at least one city. And so we announced this. We launched it really in early January. Well, we launched it at the Champions of Change event at the White House in the fall, and then we announced it publicly in January. We had about 27 cities that were signed up to participate. Today, we have over 50 cities that have confirmed, I think in about 40 states. We have about another 50 that we're going through right now, applications, and I think we're going to hit all 50 states. So it's really an exciting opportunity to get involved. And the goal here is, we have communities around the nation. How do we improve their local, state, and federal governments? So from the federal government standpoint, what we're asking them to do is come to the table with an open data set and a challenge. But you don't even need a challenge, just an open data set. And we're starting at the federal government level. We have about 10 agencies right now that are participating. They're going to offer a challenge around a data set. Because what I've noticed is that opening up data by itself is, from a government perspective, can be really abrasive internally. There's not a lot of support for it. So if we can put some purpose around opening up the data, then it's a lot more amenable within government. So we're offering challenges around those data sets. And then we're hoping to do the same thing at the local and state level. If you have ideas on how to reach the local and state level, please let me know, because I need your help. So if you want to learn more about hackforchange.org or National Day of Civic Hacking, go to hackforchange.org, and I'd love to get you involved in that. And I think that both of these serve, though, as a good idea or a good example of what mass collaboration can look like in government. So with that, I will end, because I only have 12 minutes, and I look forward to talking to you all. Thanks.